Hello everyone. So in today's session we are going to talk about virtual private cloud. We call it VPC. So we'll see how to create a VPC, how to initialize the instances inside a VPC, and then how to access these instances. So VPC is basically a provision where we can make our own network. In general, whenever we make any instances or when you make any server on the cloud, by default there is a VPC created for us, and so far we have did our lab work using a default VPC. But in this lab, in today's session, we are going to create our own VPC, our own private cloud, and then we can uh, configure that VPC by making some subnets inside the VPC, and then we will be going to create some instances inside that subnets, and then we will see that how to access these instances. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so very first thing is we need to log into our account. This is my AWS account. So as you know that on the first screen you can see all the services which are available or provided by the AWS. So today we are going to use this compute. Here we can use the EC2 service, and the other thing that we are going to use is the VPC, which you can find in the networking and content delivery area in this domain. Okay, so we will start with VPC. So this is our VPC dashboard. Here you find all the information regarding your networks which you are creating on your cloud. Here you can see this is one VPC is showing. So there is always one VPC, default VPC is there. So if you are going to create any instances or any resources when you are using, it is always be allocated inside a default VPC. So you have a provision that either you can create your own network, or if you don't want to create your own network, then by default there is one network created by the AWS. So there is always one default VPC is there. So far we have used the default VPC for instantiating our instances, like we have created one server, Linux server, Windows server in the previous labs, and in that case we have simply used the default VPC. Now in this lab we will create our own network, our own VPC, and then we configure our network as per our requirement. So here you can see that there is one default VPC is there, and subnets are 6 here because we are using the North Virginia region. So here we have 6 availability zone, and each availability zone is basically representing one subnet. So likewise, if you choose another region, you will find number of availability zones will be different. For example, if I go to Canada, if I select this region, then here you can see that there is a default VPC, and now the subnet showing is 3 because this central region is having the 3 availability zone. So number of availability zones is basically defining the number of default subnets are there. So we are going back to our North Virginia region where we have started. So here we are. This is North Virginia. This is one default VPC is here, and then we have 6 subnets are there. There is one routing table showing, one internet gateway showing. These are some default configurations are already shown here, and you can see the kind of health status that it is operating normally. So we are allowed to create our network. Now what we are going to do in our lab, you can see that all we are going to do all these 4 steps. So the very first thing is we will create our VPC. This is you can see this is VPC, our own network, and inside that we will create one subnetwork, and we will, inside the subnetwork we are going to create one instance. We will going to deploy one server, and then we access that server. This is our first step. Second step is we are having a VPC, and then we will create two subnets. One subnet we are calling as a private subnet, other is a public subnet. Public subnet means this subnet is provided with the public IP, so that it is allowed to be accessed to the internet. And this private subnet is having one private IP. That means the devices or the machines which is inside the subnet are not allowed to interact outside this cloud. Then in the third lab, we are going to create like this. We are having a VPC, then we have a public subnetwork, we have a private subnetwork, and then we will try to interact the machine inside the private subnetwork with the outside world. So for that, we are going to create one net table we are going to use, and with the help of net table, we will be sending a message from the private network to the internet gateway of this cloud. Okay, so we'll see what is the first exercise that we are going to do is. So first exercise is create the VPC. Inside the VPC, we have one public subnetwork, and inside the public subnetwork, we will going to access some instances. Okay, so we'll go back to the VPC. Fine. So the very first thing is, one thing to keep in mind when we create our VPC, we are actually doing these four options. You have to create the VPC, then you have to create the subnet, then you have to create the routing table for the subnet, and then you have to associate your subnet with the internet gateway. So internet gateway is the entry point uh, of your network through which you can interact with the outside world. So the very first step is go to the VPC. So here you can see there is one default VPC available, but we are going to create our own VPC. So we'll go to create. Then we have to write here the name of the VPC. So let's say the name is VPC. And this is my first VPC. Now here you have to give a kind of block of addresses to this VPC. So I am going to give 10.0.0.0. So this means that I am assigning 16 bits for the network and 16 bits for the host. You can get more information that when you give this range will be like this 10.0.0/16. The size must be between 16 bits to 28 bits. So then we are not going to change anything here. We are keeping as default here. Then you can apply some tags. So okay, this is one default tag is shown here. We are giving this VPC1, and we are ready with our VPC. So this virtual private cloud has ready for us. You can see some information which is actually configured with our VPC. The next thing is, after creating your VPC successfully, you need to create the subnetwork. Okay, so here we are going to create one own subnetwork. These are the already default subnetwork. As I told you that in the North Virginia region, we have 6 availability zones. So for each availability zone represented by one subnet, we are going to create our own subnetwork inside any of the availability zone. So we'll click create subnetwork. So I will write here VPC 1 subnet, and this subnetwork will be going to be public subnetwork. So I am writing public subnet. So I am giving the names of to these instances in such a way so that it can be easy for us to refer them easily. So this is VPC1. This is our first VPC public subnet. I am going to create one subnet inside this VPC, and which is of public type. Public type means I am going to assign a public ID to it. Then now this subnet is to be inside which VPC. So we have one VPC which is a default VPC, and this is one which we have created. So I want to create the subnetwork inside the VPC which we have created. Then availability zones. Now we have like many availability zones are there. You can give any preference or you can just leave it. I have no preference. Let's say I am saying I want to create in US East 1A. So it's up to you. You can give any preference or you cannot give. If you give any preference, that means you are saying that you want your subnet to be created in this availability zone. Then what is the range or the block of this subnetwork? So we can give 10.0.0.0. So we have the VPC defined by 10.0.0.0/16. So here we can, let's say, give /24. That means we have given 8 bits for the host. That means 2 power 8 machines will be existing in this network. That is 256 will be possible machines are there. But again, as we already discussed, that inside the VPC 5 addresses are reserved for some purpose. So we have, out of 256, only 251 addresses can be assigned to different machines. So you can see here, you can give /24, 25, 26, 28, 27, whatever you want to give, you can give. So I'm keeping it /24, and then you click on create. So our subnet is created. Now, so we have created the VPC, we have created our subnet. Let's say create our internet gateway. Internet gateway means internet gateway is a point through which our VPC interact, our network connects with the internet, or it's a point that takes you outside your network to the outside world. So I am going to click here and create internet gateway. So this is my VPC1 internet gateway. This is the name which I have given, and then just click on OK, create. Now we have created our internet gateway. Internet gateway is an entry point, or it's a communication point to the outside world. So we have created one gateway, but we have not attached this gateway with our VPC. So a message is showing, do you want to connect this internet gateway with your VPC? Yes, sure, because this is the reason why we have created. So now we have specifying here that I want to create this VPC which we have created, VPC1, with the internet gateway that we have created just now. So now our VPC is now connected with the internet gateway. Now we are allowed to connect to the outside world. Then you can see here the information which is actually ready for us for the internet gateway. It is already attached. This is the ID, the owner ID, something that may be required in some cases. So here at this point of time there is no need. Then we go to routing table. So far VPC is ready, subnet is ready, internet gateway is ready. Now we have to create the routing table. Now routing table we are creating for each subnet. So let's say if inside the VPC you are going to create 8 subnets or 10 subnets. For every subnets we have to create one routing table. Routing table will actually provides a communication path to the other units or the other resources which are available inside the VPC. Okay, so you're going to create a routing table. Click on create routing table, and then here this is my route table in the VPC1 public subnet. Okay, so you can write any name, but I am writing it in such a way so that we can refer it easily. So now we have given the name to this routing table, and then we have to specify that this is in which VPC. So the route table basically specifies that how the packets will be forwarded between the subnets within your VPC, the internet, and your VPN connections. So moving to the next. So table has been created now. Close. Now you can just go to the routing table and see the properties here. Associate. So now we have created one routing table which is existing inside the VPC1. Now we need to associate this routing table with our subnet that we have created. So you have to go to subnet association, and then you can just click on edit subnet association, and I want to associate my public subnet which is inside the VPC with this routing table. So I check this option and click on save. So now uh, this routing table is having an association with my subnet which is inside the VPC. Then the next is root. Now by default you can see that there is there is one entry that says that okay, if you want to connect to this subnet, then this is the address which says that it's a local routing table that we are creating. It basically contains a set of entries. Each entry defines a route, so it will help for any incoming request that how these requests will be forwarded. So you can see there is one default entry 10.0.0.16 and local. That means any request that is coming to this address 10.0.0.0, that is actually referring to this own subnet. Now we want to add one more entry here. That means if any other request, means if any request that is not the same as 10.0.0/16, then what to do? So in that case we will say okay, uh, just go to internet, and then internet gateway will deal what to do with that request. So we are going to add one more entry here which says 0.0.0, and here we will write internet gateway. Now what does it mean? It means we are saying if any of the requests that bears this address, that means it is represented to this own subnet. But if any other request that is not bearing this address, then we are saying 0.0, means any other address that is set to be a default address. So if there is any default address, then it is directing the packet to the internet gateway, and then internet gateway will decide where to forward this packet, because this gateway maintains all the routing tables, and then we'll see that how the packet to be forwarded so that it can reach to the destination. So here we are saying that any other request except this will be sent to the internet gateway. We are going to save this. So now our VPC has fully been configured. We have designed our VPC, we created the subnet. Inside the subnet, we have also have one routing table which is also connected to the subnet, and default route we have connected to internet gateway. We have one internet gateway which provides the communication to the outside world. We have also attached our VPC with this internet gateway. So this is what we have done so far. Now the next is we need to create one instance inside this subnet, and then we will try to access this instance. So we'll go to the EC2. So we'll go to services, go to EC2. So presently you can see the status on my machine. There is on my account, you can say there is no instances running. So I am going to create one instance. You can either click here instances, or you can click here. So I'm going to create one window instance, and how to create the instance already we have discussed in a very detail in the previous video. I am going to do it very fast. So I'm click on FreeTier account. Here I'll search for window. So I get this window. I will window option here. So I am using this AMI. I am going to install one Windows server. We have all discussed all the steps. You might be remembering that to configure a server we need to go, these 7 steps are required. So I just go with the default options. Now here If you remember in the previous case, when we have instantiated our instance, we go with the default VPC, but now we have to select our own VPC. So you can see all the available VPCs. So in our case, we have one default VPC which is created by the Amazon, and the other is the VPC which we have created. So I want to create an instance inside my VPC which I have created. So inside my network. Now in our network, again it says, okay, inside your VPC which subnet you want to use. So again you can see that inside our VPC I have one public subnet. Inside that subnet I want to create this instance. Then whenever you are going to create any server inside a VPC, by default it will not assign any public IP. Like in the previous case, when you are creating an instance in the default VPC, then this field is actually enabled. But if you create the instance in the private VPC, then by default this is disabled. Now this means you are creating any instance which will not be assigned any public IP. That means there is no possibility to communicate that instance with the outside world. But we want to create a, a server which must be having a public IP, so we will enable this. Now, so we are just skipping this part. We are not doing anything here. We keep as it is. Then go to next. Next is a storage. We are just keeping as it is. Moving to the next. Tags, we are not adding anything. Then security group. Okay, so it says you want to add any security group. In a security group we have discussed already. Okay, let us say this is our security group. I will say VPC1 security group. So you might be remembering that in the security group we basically assign what is the inbound rule, what is the outbound rule, what IPs are allowed to enter to our network, what IPs can go outside. This is what we are setting in the security group. This is a security group, VPC1 security group we have created, and in the security group we are saying only RDP is actually allowed to, only this port is actually available in our network, and all the IPs are allowed to communicate. Okay, this is done. Then click on review and then launch. Now if you want to access your server, you need to have one key pair. So we will create one key pair. Now if you already have a key pair, you can use that key pair as well. Otherwise you can create your new key pair. So let's say I'm going to create a new key pair, and let's say the key pair name is VPC1 key pair. This is name, and then I click on download key pair. It will be downloaded on machine. Keep in mind that this is the only option to save your key pair value, so you have to keep it very securely. Otherwise once you lose this, you are not able to connect to your instance. So I'll click on this and it will start downloading it. It will say where you want to save this. I will say okay, save it on the desktop, and the name is VPC1 key pair. This is a .pem file, keep in mind. And then you can just click on launch instances, and your instance is about to launch. Okay, so here everything is ready for us. You can see this. It is going to configure for us. It will take some time to get it installed properly before we start working on it. You can just click on refresh. So it's running, but it is still some checks have been pending. So once you get 2 by 2 checks, then that means your instance is fully configured and you can use your instance. Okay, let's just give some name. This is my VPC1 public server. When I say public server means this server is assigned a public IP. That's why I have given public server name, because in the next lab I am going to create one server which is having a private IP. So in that case, you will give private server. This is just a name for the identity. You can give any name, whatever you like. You can see the status check. So it is still means it's pending. It is still doing some check for us. Keep on refreshing this. So it will take some time. It will normally take 4 to 5 minutes to get it ready for you. Okay, so all of the information you can see here. Let us see the status. It is still initializing. But by the time, what we can do is we need to create one interface for having a connection remotely with our server. So what we can do is by that time we will create that connection for us. So click on connect, and then we need to connect using the RDP. So we need RDP file. Click on RDP file. So let's say the name is VPC1 public server RDP. This is the name of this file. Now RDP file is basically used to connect your instance remotely. So just click on it. You will get one RDP file, and by default the username is administrator, and to connect with your instance you need to provide the username, which is administrator in our case, and the password we can get from here. So we can get the password from here. So when you click on it, you need to provide the key that is used to connect your instance, and we have created one key with the name VPC1 key pair. This we have to provide to get the password. Now this is the key pair. Now the password is this one. It is a very big password, so we will just decrypt it and it will give us a very small string. Now this is the password we have got it here. Okay, so we will just copy this password. Okay, fine. Now we have copied, and once our instance is ready, we can use the RDP to connect to our instance. Okay, going back, going to the instance, we'll check the status. So it will say that it is 2 by 2. That means now it is ready. Everything you can see from here. What is the IP? What is the monitoring you have used or not? What is the security group you have used? Which key pair you are using with this instance? Everything you can see here also. Now we need to connect. So we'll go to our desktop. In the desktop you can find this RDP file is here. With the RDP file you just click on it, and then it will, so you can see here it will ask you what is the password. So already we have already just go here, get the window password, and then we already did this exercise. If you remember, if you don't remember, just do it again, and then decrypt password, and it will give you a very small password that I have copied. So you can just go here and paste that password here and click on OK. It will ask you to connect, and then you can say yes, and we are successfully able to connect to our server. So you can see this is the 34.224.31.55 is the public IP of our server. You can check this from here. This is our console. You go back here, and from here you can see that your public IP is 34.224.31.55. 34.224.31.55. Okay, so now we'll see that our server is ready, and we will now check that can we connect to internet. Okay, so we will go to command prompt. Just a minute. Let me open again the command prompt. Command prompt. So here you can see all the information regarding your server: public IP, private IP, the instance which you are using, in which zone this server is actually instantiated, memory size, and the performance status. So here you can write ping. Now we are going to check that we are able to connect to the internet or not. Means if I send any request uh, to the internet, then we get the reply or not. So 8.8.8.8 is actually used to check that internet is working or not. Now what does that mean? Because we have successfully created the instance inside the subnet, and that subnet is actually attached with the routing table, and the routing table is a net connected to the internet gateway. So if we are getting a ping request properly, means if it is replying properly to us, that means our instance is properly uh, it means that we have successfully created our instance inside the VPC which we have created, and we also able to establish a connection. So we have successfully created our VPC, and this is all for the first lab. So let us just go back and have a look. This is what we have achieved. We have created one VPC. Inside that we have created one public subnet. In the subnet we have created one instance, and then we are able to communicate to that instance, and we are able to check that the instance have access to our internet gateway which is attached to the VPC. Okay, so in this lab we have demonstrated that how to create the VPC and creating subnets into a VPC, and finally we have also created one instance inside our subnet and check that it is possible to communicate that instance to the internet or not. So we will see more into the next lab. Um, that's all for this lab. Thank you very much.